Says tomorrow is D-Day at the Senate where that trial begins. And I'm joined now by Wiper Party leader and former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to just talk a little bit more about this process. Thank you so much for being with us here on The Explainer tonight. I'd like to begin by asking you what your thoughts are on this process thus far. I mean, obviously the country has been gripped by it. What are your initial thoughts on how we have gotten here?
Well, thank you, Yvonne. It is indeed a momentous time for our country. The gravity of the situation facing this country cannot be gainsaid. We issued a statement yesterday as Azimio and made it clear to us, to the country, that we think this entire process of impeachment of Deputy President is a diversionary tactic. The country will remember what happened on the 25th of June when Parliament was literally impeached. And so it is the same Parliament which is now undertaking this very, very crucial matter. And the question we ask ourselves, and I as senior counsel ask myself, is a parliament that is impeached by the people under Article 1 of this Constitution, where sovereign power belongs to the people. The people exercised it because it says they can exercise it directly or indirectly, indirectly through the elected representatives or directly like they did on the 25th of June. Mm-hmm. Well, my good friend, Speaker Tangula, I'm told, actually left Parliament in an ambulance. And in older times, when kings abdicated, like the French Revolution, people would just leave. So ask yourself, if the Speaker of the National Assembly is forced to leave in an ambulance, is this the same Parliament that is undertaking these proceedings now? It's a basic question. Therefore, Kenyans, particularly the younger generation, the Gen Z generation, made it very clear that they wanted their country back. Yvonne, I've just returned from a trip to the Scandinavian countries in Sweden, and I met up there with Kenyans, and all of them are very concerned about what's happening. And I was privileged to give a lecture at one of the world-famous universities, University of Uppsala, which has produced actually 10 Nobel laureates, including the second Secretary General of the United Nations, the late Hamajad, who died in a plane crash in the DRC. Very, very famous university. Yeah. And my topic was the rise of the Gen Z movement in Kenya, in Africa, and beyond. So that matter, 25th of June, was a critical matter. But today, of course, we take note of what is happening. We should expect a very long, protracted legal process. Yeah. As of course evidenced by the fact that Senior Counsel Mwita is leading the team defending Deputy President Gachagua.
Tell me, you say, you know, an impeached parliament, as you call it, after the events of June the 25th. What are you saying about that parliament, that it...
the same parliament, yeah, several months later, yeah, because that was June, August, September, October, purportedly gets this matter of grave national importance. And they do an incredible thing. Even before Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is given the opportunity to defend himself, and they did well, gave him two hours. Yeah. I watched these proceedings actually out of the country. It was an amazing. He gave a very strong account of the charges in defense, of course, of, in my view, frivolous, but that's my...
So you think, so what are your thoughts on the 11 grounds?
Frivolous, because even if them goes against the letter and the spirit of the Constitution, then they hold on. if they fall short of the standards envisaged under our Constitution 2010, they now call them frivolous. But that's a matter for the courts perhaps to decide.
But at least
what that Parliament did
yes.
was, before Gachagua was allowed to defend himself, they actually went out there and purported to do public participation. Public participation, which turned out to be actually a referendum vote on the presidency of William Ruto, including his own deputy, because the Kenyans were out saying it loudly that both of them should leave office.
Is that what you think?
Kufa Driver, Kufa Makanga. Okay?
What do you think?
But
should they both leave? Or one leave? Or?
Well, the point is this. The point I'm making, Yvonne, is the question, the public participation question, was to the people of Kenya. And they went out there and committed, in my view, and this is a very serious matter, an impeached parliament goes on to conduct a fraudulent exercise against the wishes of the Kenyan people.
Okay. I want to hear your views.
My view on
Mr.
what,
Musyoka?
Yvonne? Yes.
On the impeachment process, Kufa Dereva, Kufa Makanga, as you said. Is that a view you hold?
Even the mechanic and others said the Makanga has their change.
Is that a view you hold?
No. That is, I think, an expression of a people's revulsion to this whole exercise.
Understood. I'm asking what your thoughts are.
My thoughts is that, the presidency is one ticket, all right? And I will be referring, as we move on, to the Constitution, Article 149 and 148, on how the presidency is one ticket. In fact, when the president appoints his deputy, the deputy is not supposed to go through a lot of other proceedings, all right? But it must be one who is qualified also to be a president, all right? And therefore, the strength of the argument here is it's one ticket.
But yet,
Mr.
Musyoka, allow me to, just so that we understand.
I hold the view.
Yes, that's fine.
I hold the view.
Yeah. And
both of them should go home.
Both of them should go home.
Yes.
Which part of the Constitution supports your view?
Well, I'm just telling you about Article 148 on the fact that there's a presidency, the presidency. And the term is a presidency. But of course, when you can still go on and impeach severally or differently, as the case may be, the present circumstances, the deputy president is being impeached alone. But in terms of public participation and perception, the clarion call was, if Gachagua has to be impeached, it should not be him. In fact, Kenyans are saying, on a balance of scale, we are to 10 out of 10. William Ruto himself should actually have gone first to be impeached.
Okay.
That's what people are saying.
That's what people are saying.
Yes.
What does Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka say?
Well, I'll be coming to that.
Oh, well, I'd like us, let's get into that.
I'll tell you this. Following the events of June 25th, a lot of young Kenyans were killed. Others were abducted. And many others are still missing as we speak today. If that is not an impeachable offense on the part of the president, I do not know what it is. Because the president is supposed to safeguard the lives, uphold the principles, the basic rights under the Constitution of every Kenyan citizen. For me, that's an impeachable offense.
Okay. If it is, why not have institute impeachment proceedings against the president?
Well, we have a long way to go. I think Kenyans are learning very fast.
So this same parliament that you say is impeached and has no business instituting impeachment proceedings against the deputy president is the same impeached parliament, based on your words,
by the way, this same parliament
that would then institute impeachment proceedings against the president?
You're stretching the argument.
No, I'm trying to understand your argument.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try to understand.
Explain it to me.
Can I also tell you, this same parliament actually stands also, not impeached, but the advisory was there by Chief Justice Maraga in terms of the 2/3 gender rule.
Right.
And they have not complied. In fact,
so is this parliament
we tried to do a lot about that. We did that under the National Dialogue Committee deliberations, which I was privileged to co-chair, that nothing still happens. This is a parliament which has been captured by the executive. And therefore, I would be the last person to recommend that the same parliament now goes to impeach William Ruto, because I'll be defeating my own argument.
Okay.
It is an impeached parliament.
This impeached parliament has 20 members of parliament from Wiper.
Yes.
What are they doing in a parliament that you, their party leader,
They're
says...
actually not 20, they're more. They're
okay.
nearly 30.
Yes, yes. Plus in the Senate.
Yes.
You say this is an impeached parliament.
Yes.
Why are your MPs still sitting in that
They know that.
impeached
in fact,
parliament?
I think some of them are ready to take orders from their constituents. And I'm so proud of them, because they realized... So what orders are those? They looked at this motion.
Okay.
All right? And the party took a principled position to say, this is none of our business, therefore we are not for this motion.
Okay.
All right? So they stood by that, except 2 or 3. All right? So the members of parliament from my party are very, very credible lot. I'm very proud of them.
Should they be sitting in what you call an impeached parliament?
Well, you see, they cannot just walk out and leave everybody there. What are the consequences? You see? So this matter is a national conversation which will not leave us in the next 2 or 3 months. Perhaps it could even go on until the next election. Okay.
We will come back and talk a lot more about that and your views on that process. I think there's much to get into: the law, the Constitution, what it says, the matter of public participation. There's much debate about the first time we're testing this aspect of Kenya's Constitution. Please do stay with us. And we advise you and urge you, please, to stay with us as well. And you can send in your feedback and any questions that you have. The hashtag is the Explainer at Citizen TV Kenya, at Yvonne Okwara. 22422 is the SMS line. Any questions or comments you have for this conversation, please share them with us.